Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. Here we are hanging out on fire like we normally do. Today we're going to be building this little part of the track right here. I talked about it a lot in the last episode. I had an idea for something I wanted to do here and it's probably not going to sound like the most interesting of things. I want to build a garden around this track. There you go, that is my plan, and you're probably thinking, a garden? That's not anything too impressive. Well, if you look at this area right here, it is really grey. There's this big grey hill, there's a little bit of greenery in the background, but it's the duller colours, and there's a lot of snow, and then you've got this big grey mountain next to it as well. Now if we go up here and just have a look, you can see there's a lot of colour and greenery over in this area, which looks really nice. But back in here it's just very grey and dull, and so I think having a garden in this area is going to look extra nice because it's going to stand out with all of this grey around it. So that is my plan. It's going to involve first of all a little bit of terraforming. You can see that this side over here comes quite close to this. I want this to be off the ground and elevated, so this needs to go down by about 2 blocks, and we need a little more space on the left here, so that means a lot of this stone up here on the mountain is going to be trimmed down. Now I set up a temporary beacon up there, so I've got instant mine. That is not going to take too long to do, but once we've done that we can have like a wall that goes along this side, and then we'll define some sort of ground on the other side where the garden ends. So I want it to be like a box shape, so this thing goes through like a little isolated box out here in the middle of the grey, and I think that is going to look great. And then I've just been getting some supplies together over here. You can see we're going to grow some trees. Got some bone meal for that. I've got a bunch of different woods here, so I'm going to play around with the different materials and colours. And we got, you know, leaves for bushes and some grass as well. I need to go grab some dirt so we can spread that around. And I'm sure there is something that I forget, because as always I've had to travel all the way back over to my other base. Spent a lot of time over there just trying to make sure I brought the right materials over here and that I didn't forget anything, and I think I've done that. So we will start construction in a moment, but before we do that there is a little errand that I need to run. Now False and Zul'jin are the new members on the server. If you don't know about that, then I've mentioned it in the last couple of videos, so be sure to go and check them out. We done a prank together and I never gave them any form of repayment for helping me with the prank, and I have something in this chest for each of them. A fortune free pick. It also has efficiency 4, but the fortune free is the main thing there, and I thought that they would probably both like to have one of those, considering they're starting out, and it's one of the first things you try and get is a good fortune enchantment when you're on a new world. And by the way, in the last episode I reckon about 80% of all the comments were about Mumbo's Ender Challenge or Ender Olympics. I recorded that video before he put his one out, and so that's why I didn't know what it was, but I did watch his video and see it, and then you guys all reminded me. So for those of you that didn't see it, those things that we saw, the little posts, you basically ender pearl from one to the other, and that happens to be the finishing bit. Anyway, we're going to go and head over to Full Symmetry's base first. It's just over there on the hill behind Muse's mansion. Muse Mansion, we could call it, I guess. So I'll do a little cut and we'll be there in a second. This is the way that we get to False's base. You can see a little bit of it up there on the hill, and I gotta say, False is an amazing builder. I just went around and had a look at her base, and it is really great. Corrales has some competition here on the area, but this is Justra's house and Red Eyes' house, and if you come up here and turn to the left, then there is this temporary tunnel leading through to the entrance to False's area, and it looks really nice. There is this lovely little bridge right here, and on the side you can see that waterfall. Ever so subtle, it looks really good though. That is definitely not a natural waterfall. That's something that she's put in there herself. And then this leads over to this lovely little pathway. It's very kind of run down kind of feel to it, like it's a bit old and broken, but it's really nice, and I love the use of the fence posts as well, just holding up the dirt on the top there, and it goes around the corner here and then leads up to the top. It is such a nice little walkway up here to her house on the hill, which looks absolutely stunning. Look at this thing. It's just a starter house and it is really quite amazing. I do like it, and it looks good on the inside as well. Now the interiors, I'm not sure if they're finished or not. They are looking a little more furbished than last time I saw this, which would have been, I think, in one of her videos. But up the top here it looks really good as well, and this iron is like a really industrial kind of texture, and yet she's made it work in this house really well, and I love the windows as well. That stained glass looks ever so nice. But if we go down below, there is something very impressive down here. I noticed this little staircase and I walked down below, and it's this room that I've seen in the video. You'll be amazing how difficult it can be sometimes to just understand where everything is in relation to each other when you're watching a video. I didn't realise this room was just right below this one, but there you go. It's an awesome looking little storage room with some nice use of water and jack-o'-lanterns, and then round on this side there is a hot tub as well with fire underneath, and then there is like a secret passageway going down the bottom here, and it leads to the waterfall, or at least underneath it. I'm sure the water was flowing from up above there a moment ago. Now I noticed that there's ice around here that's freezing, and I think she might just be building this right now because the water was flowing out from here, and there you go. It looks like the ice is freezing and giving it problems. Let's just break that back. I'll have to tell her about that. But the water flows over the top and it looks really good from down here. I didn't even notice it on the way up that there was water and like this secret entrance behind it. But anyway, yeah, let's do what we're here to do, which is to leave false this fortune pick. So we'll put it just on the wall here in an item frame. I thought I'd do that instead of a chest, which is usually the normal thing to do, not the random thing. Anyway, let's type a little sign. So thanks for the help with the prank, and then signed Xisuma. So straightforward message, thanks for the help, and there you go, you got a fortune pick. Anyway, let's go and check out Zul'jin's base next. I think False is trying to show me something. I noticed these iron bars down the bottom here, and now she's leading me over here. Another little secret area. Oh wow, it goes down here, does it? Oh, and look at that, the side of a ravine. That's awesome. That's really cool. And then, oh, this is fancy. I do like this. Look at those seats. That's really cool using the trapdoor there. Awesome. And there's water underneath the table. Ah, this is really cool. And then there's another room back there. So False is working on some sort of secret area down here. That's cool. So here we are at Zul'jin's area. This is his starter house, and that is the modern house, the bigger one that he's working on right there, although he's only just started on it, so we will definitely come back here soon and have a look at that. I can't wait to see what he's going to do, but it looks really good. Nice start with the structure there, and I was over here a moment ago at night and there were mobs spawning on the inside, so that is something to watch out for Zul'jin if you're watching this video. But we're just going to leave him an item frame out here on the outside. I don't think there's too much to see on the inside, it's just a little storage room. And he's got these item frames for putting in his armour in as well, which I thought was pretty cool. But there we go, let's leave him a sign as well. Thanks for the help with the prank, Xisuma. Excellent. So now we can go and start work on the little garden area, which I've been waiting to do for some time. Ever since I first got the vision of it in my mind, I've been itching to go over there and build it. And unfortunately, I didn't have the time to do a Thursday episode. So you're watching this on a Saturday, and I am probably standing in a field somewhere in the rain because I'm going to a festival and it's supposed to rain for the whole weekend, which is a bit of a bummer, but at least we'll be watching some good bands, which is cool. So never mind the weather if there's good music on. But anyway, let's get on with this building. It's time for a little bit of an update on what I've been building here. But before we talk about that, can you see this dirt track going across the sky there? That goes all the way through Slipgater's ribbon off into the distance. And in that direction, it goes into the commercial area. It goes around Muse Meats and then off into the distance. I have no idea who built it, and I've been meaning to get on my minecart and check out where it goes, which is something I will do in a bit, but as of right now I have just been doing some building and there is nothing too impressive to see at the moment. I'm just putting little bits together at a time and seeing how things look, and I gotta say it's a little bit harder than I thought it would be to get what's in my mind down here onto the ground, but I'm confident we can do it. And now that I've put a few things in place, I can see how this is starting to look. So first of all, the track in the middle just gets so much wider once you add the stairs on either side, and they also don't bring too much detail to it either. You've got to think about where you're going to see this from. If you're down the bottom here, then you're going to see the edge, whereas if you're level with it, then it just looks a little bit bland and boring. But I think the most important view will be for the people who are coming through on the track. And it makes this thing quite wide, which means that this has got to get wider, that this has got to be pushed back, which is something we'll be doing. A whole bunch of terraforming's got to be done on this stone over here. and as I said, this has got to be pushed back as well. So I'm trying to get the dimensions right from, you know, one thing to the next. So from the edge of this to the fence post, there needs to be more space for this to look right. And then I put down some glass as well. Originally I thought that we would just be doing plain glass on the sides and then some stone bricks on the top, but it doesn't really look too interesting. Obviously there's just a few blocks here, but I'm thinking that actually we're going to have to try something different, try and bring some details into the shape of this, and I think that might be possible using maybe some iron bars or some stained glass or something like that, and that would be the stained glass panes. So things are coming along. You can see we have a little water feature here. Now at the moment I think it doesn't look quite right, and I think the reason for that is because the water here is just flowing over the top of all of this stone, and I think it might be a good idea to dig the stone back a little bit so the water is more settled and level with the stone around it. But the reason I decided to add this in, it was a bit spontaneous, was because there is a cave back here which I found when I was doing some terraforming, and I just sort of saw maybe we could have some water in here and then have it flow down the bottom, which is what we've done. But after I'd done a whole bunch of terraforming on the side of this, it used to come out a lot further. If you remember, the stone came all the way out to the front here. I then terraformed all of this and remembered that actually what I wanted to do was to have some walls in, and of course we're recording and it starts raining. So I've just been putting in some acacia wood because it'll blend into the stone a little better. I want to put in some wood across here, but I think I might move that back by one block just because it feels like, I don't know, maybe it's a little too close to the front. But I have done some cool building around the side here which I think looks really good. So you can see we've got some fence and some stone, but if we go down to the front here, we have a little bit of a valley intersecting this area, and so I decided to build what's kind of like a dam. You know, it's holding up all of the dirt, and that actually looks really cool. Now if you remember, we did these stairs with like support beams in between over at the courthouse, which was quite some time ago, and it looked really good, and it's nice to do it again because it looks pretty cool there. I've just realised as well I can't hear the rain, and I think maybe my speakers are muted or something. That's really strange. I should be able to hear that. And there's a creeper over here we've got to watch out for. So slowly things are coming together. We now have a tree, and I grew a big one, and that was pretty much the shape of it. And then I went round and put an extra bunch of leaves on the outside and in the middle as well, so they can drape down, just like I've seen other people like Corrales build with trees. And I think it needs a little bit of a touch up, but it is certainly looking good. Some vines and little details will probably help this look a lot better as well, so that's something that we'll do in a bit. We've also got the wall across the back here. I think it looks okay. It definitely needs grass placing down here at the bottom because it can't spread to it, but it's not quite how I imagined. However, it's not the worst, and I think the main thing I'm noticing at the moment is there's no height difference where the grass is, which could be a problem. But at the moment it feels okay, and I've also just changed it up around here as well. We were going to have a big straight line, and then I thought, no, we need to get away from that. We need to get away from symmetry, and we need to just have a little bit of variety. So I put in some slabs wherever the stone went up to, and now looking at this, I'm thinking about removing all of this dirt and replacing it with stone, just so this whole thing here is made entirely out of stone. And I've already done it in a couple of places, and it looks good. But the thing that I want to show you is a really cool idea that I just had a moment ago, and I realised we're not going to be able to do it because the idea is to power the rail here and also create a support beam down at the bottom, but due to the height of this grass you're not really going to be able to see that, but we'll show you anyway. Oh, and his friend spawned in right next to him and picked up his remains. That's technically what the rotted flesh is, I guess. Anyway, here's my idea. So we take our powered rail and we get rid of our block. We put a lamp down below. We put the rail on top of it, so it's going to provide light up above, and I can't pick that up apparently, but we will sort that out in a moment. So then we need a block to go down below. I do believe I was going to use the achacha, as Corrales would call it, and look at this, their friends are spawning right next to them. So we will remove a few blocks down here. We will place the achacha like that, and oh god, go away. Look at this little guy with his full leather gear. So we will place that like so. Oh, come on guys, I'm trying to record. This is why you shouldn't record at night. And there you go, we have achieved what I wanted to do. We have a support strut, and we have lighting inside, and yeah. Okay, so I thought maybe a powered block next to the powered rail would power it, but that's not how it works. So unfortunately that idea wouldn't work for two reasons. One being that it doesn't actually power the rail, and the other one is that we can't put these things on the corner, which is where you'd probably put it. Ah, go away, guy. If we're going to make this place look pretty, then we are going to need some flowers. I've just headed over here to buy some, and I brought 10 of each type that you can see here. I think that's all of them in the game. I think she's got all of them up for sale. Of course, I could pop over into creative mode and check out the menu there, but yes, 14 different types of flowers. They are very cool. So that is going to cost us 14 gold, because they are a gold bar for 10 each, which is a bargain. Let's just chuck that in there. And while we're over here, I wanted to show you that dirt path as well. We still need to go and investigate that, but you can see here it goes all the way over to here, like I described. It goes around the Muse Management Meets building, whatever he's calling it, and then it just goes off in that direction for as far as you can see. Now we're going to head back and I'm going to show you what I've been doing. But after that, I think we will have to go and investigate, because I'm really curious to find out what on earth that thing is doing. So this is what we're looking like at the moment. There are a few things I don't like and some things that I do. So let's start off with talking about what I do like. The wall here at the front, I decided to go with this cobblestone and wood slabs on top of it. Now I tried out a few different things, but this looked the best. And what I like about this from the front here is between the cobblestone you just see the top of the grass, which I think looks cool, but we're not really going to see it from that angle. And another thing that makes this wall look nice is the bushes. Now I am no bushmaster, I am not Corrales, but putting these down, it does make it look a little bit better. And although I'm not sure I've put these in the best arrangements, they do just kind of bring something a little bit extra to it, which I really like. Now if we go up the top here and have a look from another angle, you'll see they don't look too impressive. In fact, none of this looks that impressive yet. It is a bit bare, and that's because we have our flowers and also some bone meal to bring some grass and long grass into this area. And when we do those things, they're really going to be the finishing touches, but we need to get the core of things down first of all. So these bushes will probably get changed up a little bit. One of the things I did want to see is what the jungle leaves look like. They're actually quite nice, even though they're not as bright as when they're in a jungle. So I'll definitely have to mix those up into the bushes that we have there at the front. And there'll be more of them around this place. But I put in another tree, and I'm not 100% sure about this. However, I am probably just going to keep it because it's there now. Now I grew a big one, and once again I've gone and draped down the leaves around the outside, which really do add a lot to it. But it also blocks off the view that we had there through that gap, which I quite liked. I did like it, but it didn't really have a view of anything other than a little bit of tree and the sky. And my clouds have come back on. What is going on? I tell you what, the last several times that I've loaded up Minecraft, I have turned off my clouds, and every time I come back on, the clouds are on, because I don't really like the clouds that much. They look okay when they're up there in the sky, but when you get close to them, let's say you're high up, you're in the ribbon and you're doing some building, then they look pretty smelly if you ask me, because they come through and they do all of that transparency stuff. But anyway, let's talk about what else I've done here. I lowered down the waterfall. That now looks a lot better. And then over here I changed all of this to dirt, and I think that looks nicer than when it was stone. So we're definitely going to have some flowers and stuff on top of there. But this thing right here, I think it looks pretty hideous, although you can probably see kind of what I was going for. I went with brown because it matched the wood at the bottom, and then I put in some orange, which was way too bright. And brown and orange, they can look good together, but this is just too bright and it stands out. And then I ended up putting some more wood around it, and it became very big and bulky, which is something I don't want it to look. I want it to look lightweight, and I'm not sure how we're going to achieve that. But there you go. I'm not happy with this. We're going to tear this down, and also the support beams underneath don't look too impressive either. So I'm trying to work on this, but I'm doing other things around it, and we're getting there. So the next thing for me to do, I think, is maybe to start putting down some of these flowers and bone mealing the grass in, but also working on this as well. So I've done just a little bit of work on this, and already I feel like it's starting to come together at last. It's looking pretty cool. Now I decided to go with the regular glass panes, and I felt like they were a bit much, a bit overpowering because of the bright lines, and then they would overlap twice like you see here. And oh, I'm in the water, that's why I'm moving strange. So I decided to just put them on the bottom, and then I thought let's try and break them up a little bit as well, which we've done here. Now you'll notice they don't connect on the edge, which is a small detail that I really quite like. And then we have the brown stained glass at the top that just goes from one side to the other and connects as well, because we have a solid block, and I do like that. I like the shape, I like the colour. However, there is one thing, and I've just realised what it is we need to change. There is just a little bit too much spruce wood going on here. We need to change it up a little bit, maybe these beams on the side need to be a different material, but I think that is going to work. And one thing I haven't actually done yet is put some of these on the back. I think I just put in the bits above, and then I got all excited and thought, right, let's record, let's show you guys what I've been doing. Let's just grab a few more of these and put them in quickly, and then we can have a look and see how it is. It looks good when you're going through the middle as well, which I think is also important, so another good point there. Now that does look a little more clustered, there's a bit more going on, but it's not too overbearing. I think maybe being able to find a break in the middle, maybe we could have a slab going across, just to break it up a little bit more might be a good idea, but I will keep working on this. I think we are definitely getting there with the tunnel. So it's starting to look really good now. Let's take a quick look at it at night, and let's also move over to the side here just so you can see it from this kind of angle. And you can see that I put down a whole bunch of grass. That's kind of temporary, I guess. We're going to make that look a little bit nicer with some more flowers. But let's go and sleep in the bed. I'm really happy with how this thing is coming along. I've got to say, this tunnel right here is looking excellent. And there's just one decision left that I need to make. Well, actually two, but one of them I've made my mind up on already. So have a look at the bottom here. We have the darker wood. That was to bring some more colour to this. And when I put that on the sides here, it didn't quite work. One thing I didn't get around to trying, though, was changing this half slab here, which breaks up the glass. Sometimes I say grass when I go to say that, which is kind of annoying. But around this side you can see we've used the stone bricks underneath, and I like that so much more than the dark wood. I just wanted to show you that, so I am going to change that over. But let's go inside the tunnel. This is what it's going to look like if I could stand in the middle going through. I think it's pretty good, and it looks nice from the outside as well. Now the one thing that I want to do is put some lighting in here, and I've been thinking about using glowstone like this, but we want to hide the glowstone from the outside, so we put stair block around it, and we could also put an extra half slab on the top as well. But when you go and look at this from the side, I think that bit right there looks a little bit out compared to everywhere else. So if we go down here, you can see without the little bit sticking up in the middle each time, it actually looks really nice, and I'm very happy with how that looks. So I'm probably not going to go with the glowstone, and maybe the lighting in the tunnel will be a little bit of a problem, but one thing we could do is put the lighting in the floor. So maybe where we have the half slabs, we could put the glowstone underneath, or a lamp of some sort if we find a way to power it, and that could work out, and that could bring light inside the tunnel. But that's where we're at right now. I just went and put down a load of grass, which makes this place look a little bit better. There are also lots of jack-o'-lanterns under the jungle leaves, and that's to provide a little bit of light. However, I'm not trying to make this thing mob proof, it's just so it gets lit up at night time, which is one of the things I wanted to go and see a moment ago, and we didn't really check that out well enough. But now that I've put down the grass, it does look like it's getting there. It's going to need a little more direction than this. There's going to need to be some bushes and some different flower types and a few other little bits and bobs and details, and then it will start to look real good. And I also want to get rid of all of those. But that's where we're at right now. It is looking good. And you know what? I think what we're going to do next is remove the glowstone from up above. I'm going to try putting it between all of the half slabs. So we are at that point now where this thing is done, and I know that there is one thing that I am missing, and that is vines. However, I'm a long way away from my base where I have a stockpile of them, or a jungle biome, and it's just one of those things, you know? Going back and forth to get little bits of materials, and always forgetting things when you go as well, is just tedious. So I'm going to leave that for another time, but I would love to get your feedback. So we're just going to go have a look around at this, which is probably going to be the final thing. So let me know in the comments down below what you think of it. I am expecting some criticism on my bush placing ability. This doesn't look too great, but I do like it, and I've got to do it more often to get better at it. But I am absolutely loving this bridge, and I love the way that it goes through the garden. And I've just called it a bridge, and sometimes I call it a tunnel, the track, whatever it is, it looks good. And what I've done is I've actually divided up the flowers into different groups by colour. So at the front here we have purple, and you can see where they've been spaced out. And then if we go around to the side here, we have the white, but also some blue as well. And what I did is around each tree I just put 3 of these, and the reason I put them next to the tree was just by association. Now you find these in the swamps, and there's always lots of trees in the swamps as well. And now that I say that, that sounds kind of silly, because wherever you find flowers, it's most likely going to be near trees, unless it's on the plains. But anyway, that was the association, but around in this area we have loads of the white flowers, and also I just put down extra bushes here and there, and they actually look really nice. And then if we go around to the other side, you'll see we have lots of long grass up on this hill. Not too keen about how that looks. A few random bushes as well. I think maybe I should have left that bit a bit bare, but there you go, that's what it looks like. And on this side it's all the red and orange flowers, and then we've got the 3 blue ones around the tree as well. And that extends all the way down to the side here, again with a few random bushes, but that is it. And you know what, the whole time I've been doing this, I have not once rode this thing on a minecart, so I think that is the next thing we need to do. We need to ride it from one side all the way around to the other, and then do the same thing going in the opposite direction. If you listen carefully, you might be able to hear some zombies. I think they're hanging out in the caves behind here. Anyway, let's ride this thing and go through. Let's do this in F1 mode as well. It looks alright. The view is kind of restricted, but it is very lush and nice looking. And now we need to try and do that. Yes! Absolute skill. That's quite difficult to do, I find. Anyway, let's go through from this side. And you know what? You go through so quickly, you hardly get a chance to look. But it does look lovely. The big trees, I think, are the... yeah, they're the winning touch right there, if ever there was one. Right, let's try this again. No, I missed that time. And now that thing's going to run away from me. Come on. There we go. We got it. Well, we are done with that for now. I'm awaiting your feedback, and maybe we'll make a few tweaks and changes in the future. But now it is time for us to do some investigating, which I think I said I was going to do earlier. I got carried away with working on that project. Let's see where this ender pearl lands. Will it land on the track? Oh, it did. That's very nice. I was about to predict that actually it would go all the way down to the bottom of the ribbon. This place is absolutely fantastic, isn't it? And let's put down our minecart. I've just noticed that there are no powered rails, which could mean that I'm going to have to hold down forward. And that goes very, very slowly. Well, that's great. It looks like I'm going to have to do a whole bunch of walking. And what happens when I hold down shift? Let's make sure we're not above the ribbon. Yep. That's typical right there. Okay. Let's get back up there. I found one end of the line. This is a little mysterious. It just goes all the way down here next to the horse track, which we went around in the last episode. Ah! Now I know what was here. Some of you may know if you've been watching Slip's video. He actually captured a chicken zombie. Oops, let's put that back quickly. Yes, a chicken zombie. Did I just say chicken zombie? A chicken jockey. That's what they're called. The little baby zombie on the back of a chicken. So he has obviously moved that somewhere. However, it's not into his ribbon. He's gone beyond it, and I don't know where he's gone to. This has been unbelievable. I have fallen off of this thing and then had to trek across the ground for ages through all sorts of terrain, getting chased by mobs through the night, and now we hit an ocean. I have no idea. If you look over there, there are some chunk-shaped borders. Do you know what? I think this might be heading back. Oh, look at this. It is. It's heading back to the old terrain. You can see where the border was cut off over here. This is something that I had to do actually. I had to prepare the map for 1.7. I flew around loading up the entire world so that it would be preserved, and then where the ocean was in the edge I had to make these borders, and you can see it came across here at a diagonal and then it went all the way over there. So we're heading back to the old territory. So I still don't know where this is going, but it's probably going to someone's base is my guess. And I'm running low on food as well, and I'm running low on ender pearls, but I guess I'll probably be heading back to my base once we get to the end of this thing. We are now approaching Skyfall Farms, and this is a very interesting way to approach this place actually. It gives you a different perspective. My oh my, is a crazy idea for a base that Biff is doing over here, but as you can see the track now turns to the right. So I guess we will continue on our journey. This has taken me a very long time, and earlier I was joking about how it can take a long time to go all the way back to your base just to pick up a few resources for building, and here I am doing something very similar, heading back to the old area but taking the longest way possible. And now we're approaching Cleo's base, and I think the track ends here. Yep, something happens. Okay, it goes down here. This is interesting. And what do we have at the bottom? Ah, the little guy is in a minecart. Okay, so it was just for this guy to get all the way from Slip's place to over here. I don't know why they didn't use the nether for that, but there you go. Look at this guy. Oh, that's so cute. It's like when they're in the minecart. It just... ah, that is so awesome. I really do like that. I think we should give this guy... I was about to give it a weapon. I was going to go craft an iron sword to match his iron armour, but actually I don't want to mess around with this because it's obviously... I think now Cleo's and she's probably got a plan for it, so we will just leave it be. But there you go. And I tell you what, while I was travelling across the top there, I was reminded of JL's livestream. Now, if you don't know who JL2579 is, then go and check out the Zip Crowd guys, because he is one of the Zip Crowders, and they are an awesome group of people who do some of the craziest stuff in Minecraft you'll ever see. But at the moment, he is actually travelling all the way to the Farlands in a live stream that's going to last 17 days. He's going to be constantly streaming his journey going through a minecart track in the sky, and it reminded me of that, so be sure to go and check it out. So yeah, if you're interested in checking out JL's live stream, then there is a link down there in the description box. I'm sure it'll still be running by the time you see this video because it lasts for 17 days. But I'm also going to put a link to a prank that I did quite some time ago. I think it might have been my 201st episode. We pranked Zombie Cleo over here, and I thought that some of you who are newer may have not seen this, and it was an amazing prank. I built these giant fish, and then I filled the entire thing up from the ceiling all the way down to the bottom with water, and it was an absolute crazy prank. So if you're interested in seeing that, there'll be a link down there in the description box. But that is really going to wrap things up for this episode. We have done some really enjoyable building. I had a good time. I hope you had a good time as well. And if you did enjoy this video, as always, please remember to leave a like. That is always appreciated when you do that. So that's going to be it from me this episode. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.